Okay, calm down.
How was your German when you got to Berlin?
Almost nothing. I had to learn anew, which is also maybe a good question in this context, because it's a hard language. It's not a
Yeah.
language that you can learn on the street,
Right.
like Spanish, for example, or like English. Yeah, you can learn some basic English also on the street. Maybe it's not a good one, but you can manage. Germany is not working like that. So Germany really needs people to come, and it's a lot of effort to come to Germany and to integrate here because of the language, because the language is so complicated, and they demand also that you will speak perfectly. So this combination is not that easy, and that now cause also people, to think twice whether to come to Germany or not. I read, for example, that they need nurses, like in many other places. So the agency of recruiting in the Philippines was closed. In Philippines, nurses are very, they want them in Germany because many people want to be taken care by them because they are Christians.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
But I don't want to come because, in Saudi Arabia, they also get well paid.
Hmm.
So why learn German? Come, I mean, and they see what's going on, and they see that it becomes more and more racist. So Germany is going to face a problem because of that. It's not that the politicians have the maybe the feeling that they can do everything and they have the power, but it's not really the case. So already now there is lack of teachers, of nurses, of physicians, of workers in any kind, in any, just name it.
And so do you do therapy still? Do you see patients? And
Yeah.
in what language?
Well, I work in Hebrew, in German, and in English. So I see patients in Berlin, and there are many, and there is also a different system in Germany. That's part of the good system that we have here, that the public insurance is paying for that.
Right.
And this, also there is also a lack of psychotherapists in Germany and in Berlin. There are, according to the new numbers, there are 5,000 people who are waiting for psychotherapy in Berlin. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they don't let many people to get into this system. It costs money if people are being paid for that. So they try to cut off, and this is also part of the things that we see, that they use this accusation of anti-Semitism in order to have cuts. So if you say, this cultural center is,
Right.
yeah, someone spoke there and said something anti-Semitic, then they can close it. Now they close two centers for girls with what they called migration background, that are coming there after school, because the manager of these centers were taking part in pro-Palestinian demonstrations. So it's a good occasion, just opportunistic,
Right.
just you can suppress the pro-Palestinian solidarity movement. You can cut off two centers with one, cut, and you can pretend to be also a very moral person. And this is what they are doing. They're not just saying, like in other places, Italy, or I don't know, where you have a right-wing government, or Hungary, we are not going to support these migrants, whatever.
Right.
We're doing that because we are very moral and very good people. It's a long process. I mean, the first cancellations that we saw were 2009. I wrote in an article about the fact that Norman Finkelstein, Ilan Pape, and Hayo Meyer, who was
Right.
himself a
Holocaust
Holocaust
survivor.
survivor,
Right.
yeah, were cancelled. And that was the first time that this taboo was broken. Because until then, you could be critical about Israel if you were a Jew or Holocaust survivor, or you came from a family of Holocaust survivors. Now, there is no taboo anymore. They will tell you that you're an anti-Semite as a Jew. 30% of the people that are cancelled now in Germany by German Christians are Jews. So
And what does that mean? When you say canceled, what does that mean?
It means, for example, that Nancy Fraser, the Jewish American philosopher, was supposed to get a prize in Cologne, in the German university, and was supposed to be a visiting professor there and give lectures. And she got a letter saying that it's cancelled because she signed a letter about philosopher for Palestine.
Right.
So, you know, you have already a job, or Rassan Haj, who is an anthropologist, an Australian anthropologist from a Lebanese origin, who was in the Max Planck Institute for. He had a contract. He was there. He lived there for 2 years. He had a contract, and and he was also hired because he's also activist, and he's doing kind of activism and anthropology together. And after the 7th of October, one of his tweet or something like that was a reason to fire him.
Wow.
So this is the meaning of, and for some people it means really something existential. For Nancy Fraser or for Rassan Haj, it's not something existential. Right. But if you're an artist and you live, and in Germany the state is financing and supporting a lot of art, so it means you cannot live from that. The moment you say something, you will get cancelled. You are not able to get any money from the states. No one would like to work with you. And so this is the way of what in the Nazi era they called it Gleichschaltung, that you make the society very homogeneous, that everyone thinks the same. So there is a line and you mark the line all the time, said this is not something to be said. And this line is of course moving, because it was not allowed to say, for example, apartheid and genocide. Of course, it's not allowed in Germany. And settler colonialism is also not allowed. But now, for example, occupation, there are some newspaper, when they say occupation, they write it in parentheses, like it's not real, you know.
Wow.
So you see how the threshold is being
in quotation marks.
In quotation marks.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, it's someone claimed that it's an occupation. Right. It's not really.
Right. And then there was, of course, Masha Gessen got some award, but they compared Palestinians to the Warsaw Ghetto, and then that was canceled. Adam Broomberg, who I've had on my show, the artist, right, who's the son of Holocaust survivors, also had an exhibit canceled by, I guess, a guy who's like a czar of, I don't remember the technical name, a czar of anti-Semitism, Stefan something, who is Jewish but converted. And I'm like, you know, you can't just do that, become a Jew as a German and tell other Jews who were Jewish before, you know, didn't have a choice whether or not to be Jewish because their families were Jews who were killed. Like, you're going to tell them what's anti-Semitic?
This is what we see more and more in Germany. That's the part of this psychotic idea, because Germany is doing a kind of reforesting of the Jewry that was before the war. Because the German Jews, before they were exterminated by Germany, they were liberal and reform. Right. So the first reform synagogues are from Germany, where you had organ, which is a sin, you know, in Judaism, or was a sin back then, at least. I mean, they were in Orthodox Judaism, and they were expelled from Germany. But these are the Jews that Germany wants back. The Jews that stayed in Germany, or that came to Germany, or were displaced to Germany, to say it correctly, after the wars, are the Ostjuden. I mean, the Jews from the East Europe, who are the objects of all anti-Semitic cliches and stereotypes. This is the Jew that was exterminated. And this is not the Jew the German wants. Germany wants the liberal Jew, who is actually a German Protestant for them. So they are financing and promoting this conversion in the liberal way. And the synagogues here in Germany are mainly assembled from people who converted to Judaism. There are not enough Jews for the synagogues. So many Germans are converting to Judaism. They become the better Jews. And they tell us also what to do, what is anti-Semitic, how to be a Jew. And some of them, you know, there is also a group called Jews in the AfD. AfD is the right-wing party, a semi-Nazi party, or, you know, and the person that was establishing or founding this group of Jews in the AfD is a German Protestant that converted to Judaism, went to Israel, served in the army, came back to Germany because he's gay, I think, and he could not live with his partner in
Right. Yeah,
Israel.
you can't get married there. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's now, the head of Jews in the AfD. So you have so many crazy things like that that you just say and say, wow.
Yeah.
But and this is the case also, the general manager of the Jewish community can be a converted Jew. Or there,
Wow.
there are universities of Jewish studies that the German government is heavily supporting. All is, all the teachers and the professors and many of the students are converted Jews.
Wow.
They have a rabbinic schools, which is something Protestant because, rabbis do not go to university, but in Germany, priester goes to university, Protestant
Yeah.
priesters. So they are qualifying lots of rabbis, but you don't have Jews that needs them. So it's everything is what we said in Yiddish, Luftgeschäft. It's nothing with nothing,
Mm.
because they are just it's a PR work, and you see this commissioner or czar
That's right.
against
Yeah. Commissioner.
antisemitism
Yeah.
for Jewish life and said, we send now 3 new rabbis to the German army or to German police, but there are no Jews in the German army. Most of Jews are older than 60 years. It's not,
Right.
so it's rabbis without community.
Wow. That's really crazy.
And this is really a construct, that Germany is building in order to show that they have a Jewish life, which they don't have. And the little of Jewish life that they have, like, for example, many Israelis, American Jews. I mean, our members, many of them are from the States because they came to Berlin, as students, as artists, as from Canada, from Australia, from many other places, because they're not Jews here,
Right.
humbly, yeah. So the smallest Jewish life that they have here, they suppress or they cancel. For example, Candice Berites is a Jew from South Africa who's teaching here and had she was supposed to have an exhibition in a museum. It was canceled because she's anti-Semitic. Because of this, she organized or posted something in favor of Palestinian or something like that. I don't really know. I mean, they find something, yeah. So this is the crazy thing that Germany is going through, which is indeed dangerous.
Wow.
It's dangerous because we already experienced Germany in a psychotic episode, which was very destructive. So I know of many people who think about emigrating from Germany. They will start with the Muslims, and they start with Palestinians, but I guess, I mean, there will be people who will not be able to leave, of course. I guess that we will see here more and more things like we see in London or in France, in Paris, where, minorities that are being, or in the States, so discriminated and acted upon violently by the police, that they will rebel and be more radical and more, full of hate and will be furious. Until now, that was not the case in Germany. The Muslims are living in the city and not
Right.
in the suburbs.
Right.
Like so. Germany
Yeah.
was really, after the war, they really built things that, I mean, you see how they destroy it, and you just stand and you just, you want to hold your hand and say, you build so many good things. Why to destroy it now?
Do you feel like alone there in Germany?
I cannot say that because there is a big community of people who are thinking like us and going on the streets. I feel alone in the class to where I belong, kind of, among psychoanalysts, for
Mm.
example. I'm kind of very much alone
Ah,
because if you, that's the problem. The elite in Germany, people that are working with the institutions, are very conform as for what the government is saying. They are going with the government, and if the government is saying that, they will go with that. um, and you see hardly, and this is something that is also very worrying, you see hardly any resistance within this class of people that have nothing to lose, actually. Yeah. So journalists, for example, academics, people in the art world, they say nothing. We look in the States and we see how professors are protecting their students, how they are being arrested with them, how they are, opening petitions,
Right.
helping them, supporting. There is no one academic that I can tell you his name or her name that says something openly supporting us.
Wow.
There is no one bank that says, "Whoa, your bank account, a Jewish organization, your bank account was closed. We will offer you a bank account." Nobody. Yeah? There is no university, at least that I heard, that said, "Laurie Anderson, come and teach here," or, Nancy Fraser, come and teach here. It's a shame that you were canceled.
Did you feel more alone in Israel than you do in Germany?
I guess so, because I mean, in Israel, the street is also very racist. In Germany, let's say the street is racist if you go on demonstration and you see, police and politicians, but it's not that you will be attacked. I mean, at least me, if I would look more Muslim,
Right.
maybe I wouldn't talk like that. But it's not that openly like in Israel.
Yeah.
So in Israel, it's frightening also, and people have weapon, and there is many weapon also in the streets, and the threshold or you're prepared to act violently much faster than
Right.
in Germany. Um, but of course, yeah, I feel alone as for that my colleagues and are not, they don't want to talk about it, and we're talking about our patients. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, it's not. I mean, we are talking about malpractice. If you don't understand
Yeah.
the inner world and the reality of your patients, and we are here in Berlin, so they live. Many of them lives with cliches of Jews are threatened. There is anti-Semitism here. It's dangerous to speak Hebrew. It's not. Yeah. So there is no empirical data that can support something like that. We know of no one who spoke Hebrew and something happened to him or to her
Right.
because of that. Yeah. And
Right.
I speak Hebrew all the time on the street freely, and I hear the same things from people in England, in the USA, all these stories about anti-Semitism and how dangerous it is in universities in the States or in other places, in London and whatever. I hear from people that are going there also with fear, being afraid, because they hear these stories and they come with different stories, and they also say, therefore, no one in the German press will talk with us. We are boycotted by the German press. I give something like 2-3 interviews a week. I talk, and we have requests from the Japanese media, from
Right.
Korean media, from Norwegian, from Greece, from the States, from England. Nobody in the German press wants to talk with us, and they know also that if they will talk with someone from the Jewish Voice of Peace, they will be fired.